In the Know, a radio program talking to the newsmakers in Ogle, Lee, DeKalb counties and beyond, keeping you in the know. Here's your host, Charles Van Horn.
Good morning and happy Sunday. Once again, another edition of In the Know. All this month, we're talking about organizations that assist or spread awareness about child abuse and domestic violence. Joining us in studio is the Executive Director of CASA in the 15th Judicial Circuit, Tricia Howard. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you here. CASA, for those of you who don't know, court-appointed special advocates working in the 15th Judicial Circuit, serving Lee, Ogle, and Carroll counties. You guys are a nonprofit that are dedicated to advocating for the best interests of abused and neglected children within the juvenile court system. And let's talk about, first off, the juvenile court system. Why are kids involved in the court system in the first place? If they're abused, why do they have to funnel through that?
Sure. So most of the time when a report is made to DCFS, that is then turned over to the state's attorney's office. They review the information and make a determination if a petition for abuse or neglect needs to be filed. If it is, that case comes into the system. Once that case is in the system, then CASA is appointed as the guardian ad litem to speak for the best interest of those children within that court system.
And this is sort of unique because children have rights, but grown-ups sometimes don't, I wouldn't say don't pay attention to the rights in the legal system, but certainly it is a lot of burden on the existing public defender's office or the prosecutor's office, state's attorney's office. And CASA, you guys sort of hold hands, as it were, to, as you said, look out for the best interest of the child.
Sure. So when a child comes into that system, the attorney is normally appointed to them, is called the guardian ad litem. When CASA is involved, we are appointed as the guardian ad litem. And what makes that unique is we take a volunteer and appoint them to one case at a time. So they have ample amount of time, historical perspective to serve the needs of the child on this case. They work the case from start to finish. During the duration of the case, they prepare a factual court report to the judge, allowing the judge to read what has been going on, generally within a 6-month period of time. All of this comes together and allows the judge to make an informed decision about what is in the best interest of the child for permanency at the end of the case.
And that's really what CASA is about, is not only connecting the volunteer with the child or the family that needs the support to get the best interests of the child or the family taken care of. It's not only his consistency with having the same volunteer, but you bring it to a resolution and bring it to an end. Correct.
And again, having that one constant in that child's life while they go through the court system is super important. We kind of say that we're the eyes and ears for the court. We monitor consistency with the court orders, what the parents' services are, and the services that the parents are ordered to do. And again, we compile all of that information to the judge, offering that consistency and information to them to make that informed decision.
Now, these volunteers, do they have to have special background education, child psychology? They have to be paralegals. Volunteer qualifications, what are they?
Sure. They do not have to be any of those. Our volunteer requirements, you must be 21 years of age or older. You must pass a criminal background check. We ask that you commit to the program for 18 to 24 months. We want you to start the case, and we want you to finish it. And we do have a 30-hour training course that is done as a blended version in class and by Zoom.
So the volunteers from a diverse background then, from all over the place. How many volunteers do you guys have each year?
Generally, program-wide, we have about 30 volunteers. Our goal is to train anywhere from 12 to 15 new volunteers every year. We are appointed new cases as they come into the system, so it's always nice to have volunteers ready to go to serve the children that are waiting.
This requires a special commitment. Obviously, not everybody will be suited for it, not only just because of the time involved. but also probably the archaic schedule of everything, because I'm sure that nothing ever takes place at 4 p.m. on a Thursday consistently. Court times are always seemingly at random.
They are. What we do inform our volunteers about is court generally is once every 6 months once it gets to the point of permanency reviews. For example, here in Ogle County, that's on a Tuesday. I do have an advocate supervisor that works for CASA that can attend court if the volunteer cannot. The only time the volunteer is required to be there is under subpoena. Obviously, we would like them to be there at every court date, but if they can't, I do have an employee that can sit in on the court date for them and give them the information about what happened afterwards.
Do you write notes for volunteers, employers saying so-and-so needs to be excused? They have an important mission for CASA on this date?
We absolutely would. And honestly, what we have found is a lot of employers do encourage their employees to do volunteer work, and that is how we have acquired some of our volunteers. So we would encourage any employer out there that has that opportunity for their employees to send them to CASA.
It's an important organization supporting the children who have experienced trauma and abuse and bringing consistency to the child's life in what has been probably a hurricane of chaos up until that point. Let's talk about when CASA first gets involved. Say a child has a traumatic experience, say at the start of the year. At what point would the CASA volunteer meet with the organizations and the child?
Sure. So we are allowed to be appointed from the very beginning, which is sometimes a shelter care hearing. If we are, then within, I would say the first month, the volunteer will meet with the child. We are mandated by national CASA standards to visit the child at a minimum of once a month. That could be in the foster home. It could be observing parent-child visits. So we are at least making monthly contact with the child. We then as well are making monthly or bi-monthly contact with the parents, checking in with them to see how their services are going, what's going on with their situation. We also have consent signed. So we are privy to all of the information in the case, whether it's the child's school, doctors, therapists, parents as well. So we acquire all of that information, are involved with every party that's involved in that child's life.
And the volunteers aren't out there on their own. You already mentioned support. If they can't make it, there's help. But obviously, volunteers can't be versed for every situation. I assume you guys are there to support the volunteer, meet with the volunteer. If they have questions about what they're doing or what they're experiencing, you guys are there to jump in and support the volunteers.
100%. I always say the volunteers are the heart of our program, and my staff and myself are always available literally 24/7. If a volunteer ever needs anything, we will assist them with their first home visit that they go on. And again, if they need us for further ones, we will do that as well. I have an excellent staff, and we're definitely here to support the volunteers.
We talked about the number of volunteers that you have and what you train every year. Let's talk about the number of cases. Some of these numbers are kind of sobering. What are the sort of the number of children or families that you have as new cases each year?
So last year we had roughly 20 new children that came in the system, but we also closed cases for 20 children. So we've kind of kept that leveled out, which is important. Last year, we served a total of about 88 children with a volunteer. Now, there were still children waiting for a volunteer, so that's why it's important to continue to recruit volunteers. I think one of the most astounding numbers that we have is the volunteer base we had last year dedicated approximately 3,500 hours serving these children, and then they drove a little over 38,600 miles to serve these children throughout the year.
That is some incredible statistics, and great to know that an organization like CASA exists to support children and families in Lee, Carroll, and Ogle counties. And they are statewide. There are CASAs all across Illinois and across the country, right?
Yes, it is nationwide and in all through Illinois as well. And most recently in 2024, our program expanded into Stevenson and Joe Daviess counties. So I have been working on that to get that up and going as well. The goal for Illinois CASA is to have a CASA in every county in the state of Illinois.
And let's talk about how this program is funded. You guys are a nonprofit. Obviously, I really don't know how you'd make it for profit now that I think about it. But you're a nonprofit, and where does some of the funding come from?
Sure. So my duties mainly include writing grants. So we get a grant through the Illinois Attorney General's office. We do receive pass-through funding from Illinois CASA. We are a United Way recipient. In the past, we've received dollars from the Rochelle Area Community Foundation. So we're out there seeking money through donations, fundraisers, grants, all of those sources.
Some special events coming up. You guys have a fundraiser coming up in June, I understand.
Yes, on Friday, June 19th, we will be holding our annual fundraising event with Burn & Bush. That's going to be held this year at Luna. The doors open at 5. The band plays from 6 to 9. If anybody would like tickets or information on how to get tickets, they can visit our website, www.casa15thdistrict.org.
And this event, again, Luna, what date is that in June?
Friday, June 19th.
And other fundraising things going on that night there as well?
Not to my knowledge,
Okay.
Just CASA's.
No, I'm talking the fundraising things.
Silent auction.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have silent auction. We'll have a live auction item provided by Costas. They auction off a live dinner for, I think, about 6 people. That's been a fantastic thing at all of our events.
Good times. And seeking donations whenever, I'm sure.
Yes, we have sponsorships available for any businesses that may want to sponsor. Those do come with tickets for the event. All of that information as well will be on our website. Tickets are $50 each. The sponsorship levels, there are 3 levels for that. It's a great time. Burn & Bush has done this for a handful of years for us, and they always entertain.
So if you can't, if you can make it to that event, obviously great. If you have more time and would like to become a CASA volunteer, you said you're trying to get a dozen or so each year. I'm sure people would love to have that conversation with you and to set up when the training begins. You said it doesn't take any special background other than, I assume, compassion and the ability to probably take notes and to pay attention. I mean, that's really part of it. It's just being organized, right?
It is. And we tell our volunteers on a monthly average, it takes about 5 to 8 hours a month to be a CASA volunteer. In the beginning, it may take a few more hours as you're reading all of the information on the case and why it came into the system and getting organized, who you need to contact. And again, my staff is there to help with that as well. But yeah, just having a heart to want to help. Most of our volunteers, once they start it, I think they see the difference that they make. And we really hold a lot of retention with our volunteers.
If you want to volunteer, you want to find out more about volunteering and find out if it's a volunteer opportunity you want to do. Because again, you can find out about the project. Maybe you go, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I don't have the time. Maybe I don't have the organizational skills. Maybe I just can't devote all those hours. But they can find out more about volunteering. You have a space at the website that talks about that, right?
We do. And again, quickly, that was www.casa15thdistrict.org. We also have a Facebook page that as well is CASA-15th District. We have information on there. My phone number is 815-222-6780. Anybody can call me and we'll get you in touch with our trainer and get you set up to attend the training. We generally hold 2 trainings a year. We would like to add a 3rd one in the summer if we had enough interest. So, yeah, please reach out. We'd love to have all the volunteers we could have.
CASA court-appointed special advocates in the 15th Judicial Circuit. Tricia Howard, Executive Director, joining us this morning, keeping us informed about all the great things CASA does and what you can do to help them. Hope you have good turnout at that fundraiser. And I hope volunteers reach out and want to participate and help speak for children who don't necessarily have a voice in the court system. Tricia, thank you so much.
Thank you. We always appreciate this.
Thank you for listening to this week's In the Know. The program returns next week at this time with another great conversation with someone from your community.